This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're taking a look at the Peak Design XL Camera Cube, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. Let's dive in. First things first, Peak Design did send us this bag when they sent us their new Roller Pro. So this is an advanced model, so if anything's a little bit different, that might be why, but this is obviously an objective review as always. So similar to the other new V2 versions of these camera cubes, we have 100% recycled Versa shell material. So this is very lightweight, which you might not think is good for a camera cube, but there's a lot of padding behind that material. It's also very, very water resistant and very durable. So I've really kind of been beating the crap out of this thing for the past 2 weeks, and as you can see, it still looks very nice. The only thing you can really see on it, and maybe you can't even see on it, is my cat's been walking across it. So there's little paw prints all around it, and he even did his little, I don't know what it's called, when he sticks his claws into it, and it survived. There's no holes or anything like that, so it has held up very well. It has the cat test as well. So the only real branding on the exterior of this thing that's noticeable to me is the Peak Design logo right there. Very minimalistic, and one of the things I like most about this camera cube and just Peak Design cubes in general is that it doesn't necessarily look like a camera cube. I mean, if you know what you're looking at, maybe it does, but it doesn't scream like, hi, I've got thousands of dollars inside of me. And I really like that, because if you're traveling, you don't necessarily want people to know that you have just a bunch of camera equipment with you. So the sides of this thing basically has a little handles all the way around, and they kind of run through these straps here like belt loops. So it goes all the way around the outside like this. So it's very easy to grab this thing wherever you need to grab it from, whatever side you need to grab it from. So just makes it a lot easier to grab it and go. I know that you're not going to be running around with this thing because it is pretty heavy when you have it all the way filled up. But just a very nice way to be able to get to your gear, whether you have it in the trunk, in your closet, or inside of rolling luggage. So on the belt loops here, as I call them, below them, you also have another loop here, which you can use to attach this thing to other things. So it comes with, let me grab them here, we've got 4 C-clips, which makes it very easy to attach into the Roller Pro, which I'll show you inside that bag in just a little bit. So you can use those to do that, or if you have another rolling luggage that you're going to be using, you can use those to attach it inside of there as well. There are quite a few of them, 3 on both of these sides, and I believe 2 on each of these sides. So lots of places to attach gear. One last thing to mention is that there is a taper on this one side over here, which helps it fit inside of that rolling luggage as well, and there isn't one on this side. So if you're using it in a different bag, that's just something to keep in mind. Moving to the inside here, as you can see, I've got quite a bit of gear stowed inside of here. I have a Nikon F100, a Fuji X-T3, and then quite a bit of lenses and other gear stowed inside of here as well. I'm just going to kind of tear this apart so you can see all what I have stowed inside of here, because it really is quite a bit of stuff. I've got a tech pouch in here as well. So one thing to note is that there really isn't, I shouldn't say there aren't any pockets inside this thing. So for such a big camera cube, I kind of feel like there should be some pockets. I understand maybe on the outside you don't want to do that because it adds more places for water to sneak in, but it just kind of feels like there should be a pocket to me. I understand on the smaller ones why there isn't, but that's just maybe a personal thing as well. It does come with this one little sack here, so you can attach this anywhere to throw some accessories inside of there. No topper, but I really did like this for stowing battery cards, batteries, memory cards, etc. But as you can see, I really do have a ton of stuff stowed inside of here, and I had room for more. So you can pack your whole kit in here without an issue. We've got the same flex fold dividers that we're used to seeing. Very dense, very padded. I never at one point felt that my gear was unsafe, and that's obviously what a camera cube is supposed to be for. So you really can bring everything you want to bring. One more thing to note is that we do have zoom zippers, which is kind of Peak Design's go-to on this one, and these are also PU coated zippers, so they're going to keep your gear dry. I've never had issues with zoom zippers. I know some other folks have, but overall, very happy with all of the materials and all of the hardware that Peak Design has used on this camera cube. So as you can see here, I have the Roller Pro. We have a full review of this, so make sure you go and check that out. But as I mentioned, there is a taper on this side here with you can see my finger moving there, that side of the camera cube, so that way you can avoid this area here. So this slides just in very easily. It takes up all of the space inside of this bag. So this would be your now camera rolling luggage. And something to note is that I actually have to pull it back out to show you guys, is that similar to the other camera cubes that Peak Design makes, let me slide this over to the side. This has on the lid, you can remove the padding from it. So if you are using it inside of that bag, you can remove this padding here. This is always harder than I think it's going to be because this is pretty rigid padding. And that makes it so you have no padding here, and you can just kind of roll this up like this. and then that's out of your way. So now you can put this inside of the Roller Pro and you can access your camera gear, and it is flush. So it's basically like having the same thing here. It's just the top of that, which has pockets. So this standalone does not have pockets, but that does. So if you're using them in tandem, you will have pockets to work with. So now that becomes your camera bag, and when you pull up to a location, you just unzip that and you have access to your camera gear without having to go through another zipper. So I really like how this integrates in there. You obviously can use those C-clips to make sure it's not moving around at all, even though it is very flush. But if you were to stow this inside of a different, larger rolling luggage, you'd really want to make sure you have it secure so it's not moving around a bunch. If you are enjoying this, make sure you throw a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. So I showed you how well it fits into the Roller Pro, but what else can you really use this thing for? So my favorite way to use this was actually without the rolling luggage, although that does work very well. So a lot of my photography is done like driving around and just kind of going to a specific place in the car. So I really like how big this is because I can fit all of my stuff inside of here, and then I can throw it in my trunk. Or my favorite place to put it was actually, if I'm by myself, in the passenger seat in front of the seat, and then I have quick access to it. So if you see something crazy on the side of the road, you can grab your camera quickly from your car seat and hop out, take pictures, and then you're back on your way to wherever you're going. So for a road trip, I really like this because it will fit, depending on your car, maybe in the back seat on the floor as well, or you put it in the trunk or on the floor of the front seat, as I mentioned. But you really can put this a lot of places, whether that be in your closet, in a larger checked rolling luggage bag, so that way you have more room for clothes and stuff around it. But most carry-ons, you're not gonna have a ton of room because it's just such a big camera cube. But overall, very happy with the size and what I'm able to fit inside and the places I've been able to put it as well. So whereas this is my favorite large camera cube that I've ever used, it's just better padded and better designed, and also very much more weatherproof. I think the best thing that I can compare this to for people who have used Peak Design stuff before is one of these smaller ones that I accidentally still have the top open, just so you can see how some of the features maybe compare and just aren't the same from the smaller iterations. So something that I really like these for is that you can use it as a sling if you want to. It has a little attachment loop there that you can just attach a strap to, and this kind of turns into a sling on its own. Obviously, you can't do that with a camera cube like this. I don't think any of you were expecting it to be, but you just can't do that. So something else to mention is there aren't extra loops on the bottom of those little belt loops on this one, whereas this one does have those, which makes it easier to attach to a wide variety of things. Obviously, you can kind of just stick it through the upper one, but it's not as easy. You have the side loops as well, but I also don't think you necessarily need to attach this inside of things as much as you're going to want to attach this inside of things just for how much gear you have stowed inside of here. So I also like that we have this removable padding on all of these. As I said, I don't think it works as well, not necessarily works well, it works just fine. I didn't use it as much in this one as I would for something like this, because when you're carrying a sling, it's like already oriented the right way, so I can open the sling and grab my gear out without worrying about it falling over. I was just kind of worried about when I was using the rolling luggage that I was going to open it the wrong way and something was going to fall out. That's a personal issue, not an issue with the design, but your rolling luggage always has to be flat on the ground to not have that worry, at least for me personally. But overall, I really like the subtle differences between these small ones here. I believe this is the extra small and then the huge one, but they all work really well together. So you could really have an amazing camera pack out if you were to really invest in the Peak Design system, but I also think they work on their own, which is something to be commended, I think. So there you have it, the Peak Design XL Camera Cube. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.